Hey y'all, it's Matt Cameron on Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency Drop the Tailgate, and today we're back in White County, Tennessee, and I'm with my good buddy Rick Taylor of CVA and BPI Outdoors, and we're upcoming on the muzzleloader season, so we're going to talk muzzleloading. Who we got with us today?
I brought a little backup. It's Tony Smotherman. Tony handles a lot of our TV shows, outdoor riders, things like that. So brought him along. He's probably got more knowledge that he's forgotten than I'll ever know about muzzleloading. So he's definitely be a great asset today.
And I have to say, being a muzzleloader guy, this is probably my favorite time of year, just so you know.
Mine too. What do you say we drop the tailgate and talk a little muzzleloading?
Hey, that sounds great to me, man.
Rick, last year you and I got together and we did rifles in general, and you brought out a whole arsenal of awesome Bergara rifles and CVAs, and man, we shot several and had a good time.
Yes, we did.
And we decided right then and there we need to do something on muzzle loading.
Specifically, yep.
And I don't want to get into that yet because I want to talk to you about your turkey and your elk that you've already killed here. We're in mid-October and this guy's already got the freezer full of meat. But tell us a little bit about your two hunts you've been on this year.
I've had a pretty good start to the fall. So went out to Colorado with 4 other buddies and was able to put my tag on a nice 6x6. It was a great hunt. Just this bull kept bugling every day, and he finally come out where he shouldn't have, and I was able to shoot him with my bow. So it was a pretty cool experience. And then, as you know, Tennessee has a fall turkey hunt. You know, during the main archery season, you can take a bearded turkey with a bow, but Saturday this past weekend opened the shotgun season, which I always try to get out during that. I'm a die-hard turkey hunter, as you know, and was able to get out yesterday afternoon, matter of fact, and was able to kill a bird on this farm that we're on. So.
Is that the bird we just ate?
Yes, it is.
And the elk we just ate?
And it was good, just so you know.
The elk too. So we had a little lunch to get started out here.
I'm still picking it out of my teeth. Even brought toothpicks for us.
That's right.
Elk poppers and turkey poppers on the
right.
Traeger. Man alive.
Pretty good way to start this video, just so you know.
This is the best they can do. You know, we'll get by somehow.
We'll make it.
But man, I'm stoked. You know, we've talked muzzleloading a little bit, and it's just a great time to be in the woods. You know, if you're a Tennessee deer hunter, to me, you know, and I don't have as much experience as these guys have, but muzzleloading is probably the best time to be in the woods for deer movement because it coincides with running activity. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely, and Tony will tell you, like you said earlier, it's his favorite time of year. It's been my favorite time of the year. Matter of fact, after my elk hunt in Colorado, I literally have not been in the tree here one day during the velvet season, but I'm ready for muzzleloader. I've been putting it off, trying to wait till that season comes along. So.
You know, you mentioned being a really good time of year because obviously it's going into rut. But also, thing to consider is you're the first man in the woods with a bang stick. So it's been pretty quiet for 4 or 6 weeks, however long our bow season is, and you're the first man in the timber. Also, with a machine that is further than 40 yards capable.
Fact. That's what my dad says. He said, "Why throw sticks at them when you can sling lead at them?"
It becomes not catch and release when you bring the muzzleloaders out.
The smoke pole. So let's talk about your background in the industry, man, because I just learned from Tony here that he goes all the way back to Night Rifles, who I thought this was the case, and he verified for me, but that's who developed the inline muzzleloader, and
yes,
it's just a revolutionized
absolutely
muzzleloader. So tell me about your experience.
Well, so obviously I'm a Tennessee native, born and raised here. I live in Middle Tennessee, just outside the Outer Banks of Rutherford County. I think I started working for Knight in probably '94 was my first year working for those guys. So I got to work with the modern creator of the inline that we know today, Tony Knight, which was at that time, I didn't know how special that was. Today, sitting here on his tailgate, he's not here anymore. And the guns we're going to show you guys today is super modern technology, but really at the end of the day, we owe a lot of that technology to Tony Knight for inventing the inline. And that inline, the first one was an MK85 that stood for Michelle Knight, which was his daughter, and 85 was 1985 is when he invented that. So a lot of history between then and now, yes, but that MK85 has kind of got me here on this tailgate with you today, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic, man. And to think, you know, I was trying to, in my mind, remember when an inline first came out. The first one I ever saw, I was in high school or just out of high school. That would have been '97 or '98, and some folks had a Night rifle. Now, I'd never seen an inline muzzleloader before, and I was at my buddy's house, and I'm like, it don't even look like a muzzleloader. You know, I had no idea what it was, and they told
you
me.
wait till you see the ones we're going to show you today.
Yeah, and
They're
well,
pretty special too.
They are, and I picked up, after I hunted with you last year, or we did a video with you last year, I picked up an Optima, man, and dude, love it, love it, man. And CVA over the years has progressed to me into a leader in the muzzleloading industry. They're fantastic.
And what's really cool is we actually celebrated 50 years in business this year.
50 years.
50 years, yes, sir. Started in 1971. So.
But I'm excited to see what y'all brought for us to shoot today. You ready to go look at them?
Let's go pull the trigger.
Heck yeah.
Waiting on me. You backing up, my man?
All right, Tony, looks like we got 3 CVA muzzleloaders on the table right here. Tell us what you got. Tell us the benefits of each one versus the other.
All right, right on. Well, this here is kind of a lineup what we have for 2021. Everything here has technology has touched and compared to some old inlines. What CVA has been known for the last several years basically is our break open style muzzleloaders, which is pretty simple. It's a trigger guard actuator. Break it open, it breaks open just like an old shotgun would. Everybody's familiar with that.
With it, yep.
Super easy to run muzzleloader. This here in particular is a 50 caliber. This here is a MRX. So in our lineup over the last couple of years, we've had an Accurate MR, which is a super popular rifle. MR stands for mountain rifle.
Okay.
It's a 25-inch barrel, a really lightweight gun, easy to get in the tree stand, a box blind. So this now is a 26-inch barrel. This is a stainless steel barreled action underneath of it that has been run through a nitride process. So we invented a process in our, we were the first to bring it out in a muzzleloader called the nitride process, which again brings carbon to the exterior surface. And there's 2 exterior surfaces on a muzzleloader. One that you see also inside the barrel. So these colors on these barrels that you see here today, it's not just a coating on the outside, they actually are coating on the inside. So it cuts down on corrosion, which we all know muzzleloaders are very corrosive, depending on which powder you use. The Accurate models have an adjustable trigger assembly. So this screw here at the back of the trigger guard, you can adjust that to kind of tweak or customize your trigger to you. And even in our break open models, we're known to have an amazing trigger. But in the Accurate lineup, you can actually have an adjustable trigger that you can adjust to tweak it to your specifications, which is pretty cool. Another feature that I really like is a quick removable breech plug. So this breech plug here, you can see I'm spinning it out with my hand. No matter how many times you shoot it, without cleaning per se, this breech plug will not hang up to where you have to have a tool, a wrench, a ratchet to break it open. So this here is a Paramount HTR. This is our 3rd in the family of Paramount. So the Paramount took off so amazingly when we first built the original one that it now has become a series. So it was Paramount, the original, just the gun itself. Then it became a series, and then we went what we call the Paramount Pro. So this here is the power windows, power door locks, the fancier version of all of them. Cerakoted Patriot Brown, a custom fiberglass stock. And we talked about the actions on these being a 700 Remington footprint. So if you go to buy accessories for these like rings and bases, or you want a better trigger assembly, anything that will fit a Remington action will fit these. Nice. So the Paramount Pro comes with a Trigger Tech trigger assembly, which is a really custom trigger assembly. If you want a pound 6, you can do it to a pound 6. Which is really cool. But if you want to run a Timony or anything like that on any of these here, you can change that out. What is one common denominator that every muzzleloader has to have to load?
To load?
To load it.
A ramrod.
Got to have a ramrod.
Absolutely.
If you guys see here today, there's no ramrods on these muzzleloaders, and these are muzzleloaders. They look like center fires from a distance, but they are muzzleloaders. So what we did is, if you build a long-range centerfire rifle, you want it to have a free-floating barrel. You don't want the stock or the forearm, which is this portion right here, you don't want that to touch the barrel, because basically what that does is it changes the harmonics of the barrel. The harmonics, really big word, all it means is barrel whip. When you shoot it, the barrel does have a whip to it. So if the stock touches the barrel, it messes with the harmonics, which messes with accuracy. There's not been a muzzleloader ever up until now that did not have a ramrod that touched the barrel, that touched 2 thimbles on the barrel, then went down into the stock and then touched the stock. So the ramrod touched the barrel and the stock in multiple locations. It's okay for 100 yards. But again, the stuff we're shooting here today, talking about here today, we're talking 500-600 yards. So it's quality and precision to the next level. So what we do is, Now with that, you go, well, how in the world do we load the doggone thing?
Yep.
So this here looks like a solid ramrod from your point of view. So this is a carbon fiber ramrod. It comes with all the guns, but it is a collapsible ramrod. Okay, so now that's your ramrod. And when you purchase one of the newer model guns here that is a free floating barrel, it comes with this collapsible carbon fiber ramrod, but also has a pouch. Obviously I don't have the pouch here with me to show you, but it has a pouch that slides in. You can put that on your backpack or your fanny pack or whatever. So when you get ready to reload, bang, you drop it out. Now you got a solid ramrod to load in the field. So that's another modern piece that we put into these guys here. But from the brake open side of things, which is what we have been known for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it took us about 3 or 4 years to get the design figured out to be able to launch a bolt action muzzleloader and still be considered a muzzleloader. This long range muzzleloader can ship to your house just like a traditional muzzleloader would. So this is the only bolt action muzzleloader on the market today that this action cannot be manipulated. So even though this is a 500 or 600 yard muzzleloader, top of the shelf that we manufacture today, it still ships to your front door just like you order a pair of socks off Amazon.
And that is huge for somebody wanting to go hunting sooner than later.
You betcha.
You can get online, if you can find one with availability, you can get it in days as opposed to going to an FFL.
Yep, saves you money from the gun transfers. There's a couple other advancements on it. So have these guns to be able to have the capability to have today to shoot long range, it's about consistency. We build everything on this gun. We build the stock, the butt pad, the action, the barrel, the muzzle brake you see on the end. We'll talk about that here shortly. But we build everything on it. The bolt assembly, we build the bolt assembly, the spring assembly, inside the bolt. The only thing that we don't control on this entire process to make this thing go bang is the primer. So these primers that we shoot today, and this gun here in particular, we shoot a large rifle primer in an adapter we call a bear flame that at a distance looks like a 209 shotgun primer. But we actually shoot a large rifle primer in these because a large rifle primer over a 209 shotgun primer is much more consistent in its burn. One thing needed when you gain that kind of muzzle velocity, you're going to gain a little bit of pushback. So to help control that pushback on your shoulder, we come out with a muzzle brake that's probably the most amazing muzzle brake that I've used. It will reduce recoil by 45%.
The gun. What are we talking price points on these guns from Cva'S shipped to my door because they are muzzleloaders?
They are muzzleloaders. The Acura models right here, typically they're going to be around that 600, 650 mark, depending on where you get them at. Next step in line is the Paramount HTR. HTR stands for Hunter. The Paramount HTR is about $1,100, give or take. Then when you get into the Cadillac version, the Paramount Pros, these typically around the $1,500 to $1,600 mark. But again, these here have power windows, door locks, cruise control, all the fancy stuff. They're the XLT versions if you're talking about Ford stuff.
All right, Tony, man, we've seen several nice muzzleloaders. You've talked about them. You walked us through the technology involved with them. It's time to burn the powder, which is the best part of the day.
You bet it is.
All right, so we're shooting the Blackhorn 209.
Yes, sir. That's what. So this is how you find it on the store shelf here. It is a loose powder, again, loose powder. So you do have to measure it, and there's a couple different ways to measure that, whether that's by volume or by weight. These here being such a precision muzzleloader, most folks are weighing them now. And to speed things up for us here today, I've already pre-measured these. These here are our speed loaders that we take to the field when we get ready to reload in the field, if we have to do such. And these here have been pre-weighed or pre-measured at 105 grains of Blackhorn 209 by weight. There's that. Like I said, always bring your gun up 9 degrees. Tap it on the side to make sure your powder is leveled. There's your bullet right there. A little bit of push at the end. You're ready to go. There you are, brother.
We do have this little magnetic loading tool. Obviously, if you're wearing gloves in the wintertime or whatever, it makes this this process a whole lot easier.
So there's one key thing about this right here. The muzzle brake itself, one thing a muzzleloader is notorious for is the smoke. Even Blackhorn being really close to a smokeless or the cleanest powder there is today, there still is smoke that comes out of the barrel. And one of the problems to follow up and understand where your impact of the bullet at is looking through your scope, and there'll be a whole wad of smoke out here. The muzzle brake with the ports coming out left and right will actually cause the smoke to exit left and right and give you a clear sight path, so you know, hopefully you know where your impact is on your target. But how'd it feel?
Feel good. I mean, it didn't, mine I don't have set up with a muzzle brake on it, so the obvious felt recoil is completely different.
Completely different.
Yep.
Yep, you bet. Like I said, we shot this gun here a couple weeks here on this same farm, and I shot it without a muzzle brake, and now you see it does have a muzzle brake on it because it is worth every bit of the effort it takes to put that thing back on, I can promise you.
That's right.
Well, it looked good from back here, man.
Yep.
Are you ready? Are you? I'm not talking about you, the guy watching the camera right now. I'm talking about the guy holding the camera. You ready?
Heck yeah.
All right. Okay, so the trigger on this is very crisp, about 1.6 pounds. This is the trigger assembly that we run in our all of our pro models. I'm kind of a trigger snob. I like a really amazing trigger, so I took one of them out of my pro models and put in this HTR. So
okay.
So it's set at about 1.6 pounds is what it's sitting at right now.
How low can you go?
1.5 pounds.
Okay, you're right on the...
I'm right on the verge. Yeah. Okay, so if you're ready to go now,
yes,
just take that right there, and then you run that Veriflame right in the back of the breech plug, and then slide. There you go. Slide it off. Yep, that's it.
Beautiful.
Roll
I'm gonna have to have one of those.
You ready to go?
I can't tell you how many mornings I've been fiddling around trying to get the dang primer put in, drop it in the dark. You know, you're trying to stay concealed, and here you got this light on and a mess, but that's slick. All right. That old piggy needs killing out there. Let's put him down. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, he's rocking. Take that. I don't see my GoPro down there though, so let's hope it survives.
Hey, if it don't, I won't tell a soul. But I need $100 in cash up front. So one thing that I think maybe you notice, I can tell it, especially from a distance standing back, is muzzleloaders of yesteryear have a snap bang. Yep. These here, because of the ignition source and the powder charges, is instantaneous ignition.
Correct.
From back there at 20 feet back, it sounds like a center fire going off.
Yeah.
It's that instantaneous.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yep.
The first 2 times, and
Yep.
there was no skaboom
Nope.
or any of that.
Nope, it's
tradition.
bang. When the hammer drops, it goes. And that's due to everything here, but the powder advancement today, the ignition with the large rifle primer. And so this digs into the well a little bit, but we have some questions of why did we go from a 209 shotgun primer that we've been using for years as an ignition source to a large rifle primer that we're using today. So what we realized is in a standard 50 caliber that's running 100 grains of powder, and we're talking a 100-yard target in theory, a 209 shotgun primer works really well. But when we're talking long range, and to get long range, you got to have consistent muzzle velocity. So if this bullet leaves the barrel every time at 2750, we have consistent downrange accuracy. If this bullet leaves at 2750 this time and 2640 the next time, it's not consistent.
Right.
So therefore our long range accuracy is going to suffer as far as elevation, climb, or fall of the bullet.
Yep.
So what we realized is when we first started building this Paramount, we were having some strings of accuracy problems. And it wasn't the gun itself, it was our ignition source. So originally we were using the 209 shotgun primer that everybody uses today in a break open style gun. But what we realized is the 209 shotgun primer is so abusive, and that's the reason that we've been using it for years, because it is very hot. So we get perfect ignition all the time. So your powder sits to about right here, then your bullet sits to about right here, okay, in the barrel. So when we ignite the 209 shotgun primer, it would actually push the bullet and the powder forward before igniting it. So it would actually dislodge the powder charge forward by an inch or so. So if you took this right here and run this down the barrel, just like that right there, and we'll say if this was using a 209 shotgun primer,
yeah.
If you put it in there and squeeze the trigger, now again, we're talking safe, no load,
Right.
only a primer, it would actually shoot the ramrod out of the barrel that far because it's so hot. And I don't know what a ramrod weighs, but it's got some weight to it compared to a bullet. So what we realized is it was pushing the bullet and powder forward, and instead of igniting the powder here, it would ignite the powder here because it pushed the load forward.
Yep.
So that was giving us inconsistent muzzle velocities, which would give us high and low strings.
Okay.
So we swapped over to the large rifle primer. Now the large rifle primer is also extremely hot. Probably the same heat source as a as a 209 shotgun primer. But the difference is it's not abusive. It's the same heat, but it's almost like a small blowtorch when you ignite a large rifle primer. It's very hot, but it's kind of a long ignition, if you will, long heat, like a little small blowtorch. If you can picture a blowtorch blowing a flame out, that's what it's like, where a 209 shotgun primer is like, boom! It all goes at one time.
Puts it in perspective. Let the powder do the work, not the primer.
Yes, so it does not push the load forward.
I mean, on the cutting edge of technology, what's the future hold for these things?
Brother, I'm going to tell you, I can't see the future, but I don't know how in the world we can beat this.
How do you improve on it?
I don't know. I have no idea, because this right here, I've been in the muzzleloading business since I was just out of high school, and this is the most advanced thing I've ever seen. How we can beat it, I don't know. It's pretty incredible.
And for the traditionalists, you still bring out the old school.
Oh yeah, you bet.
Side locks.
You bet.
And put them down however you want to. So,
that's right.
And everything in between.
Everybody's got a different flavor. I prefer a rocket ship Tesla version. Some guys prefer the Daniel Boone side hammer. At the end of the day, we're all still going to the field. We're all still enjoying the great outdoors. That's what it's all about to me. It doesn't matter if it's fast or a slow muzzleloader. As long as you're going and doing it, that's all that matters.
Amen to that. Well, there's a lot of opportunities coming up here in Tennessee. You know, muzzleloader's just around the corner for us. So
finally got some cool weather. I'm liking it.
Feels
a little more like muzzleloader season now.
It absolutely does. So man, I'm excited, and I can't thank y'all enough for introducing me to these new options that are in the muzzleloader world today that I really didn't know existed. I'd heard a little bit about them, but man, getting to pull the trigger on one and just to see that it's a real thing, man, has been special. So I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity to be here to talk to you, to see you guys here, introduce you guys to our 2021 lineup and what modern technology has done for the muzzleloading and bullet world. And for Rick Taylor, myself, Tony Smotherman, if you have any questions, please go to cva.com, which is where you can get any information. CVA, of course, the World Wide Web of Instagram, social media. You can catch us there. And in most cases, I say catch us, I mean you actually catch Rick, because he's the one that manages all this stuff for us.
You have a personal account?
I do. In pretty much every aspect of social media, all my buddies call me Traveling Hunter. I hosted a TV show for several years on the Sports Channel called Traveling Hunter, just because I love to travel and hunt. So you can catch me there. And Rick, of course, you know he's a turkey guy, so his is TN Turkey Hunter.
All right, I'm Matthew Cameron. There's a bunch of them out there, but I'm from White Pine, Tennessee, and I'm on Instagram at John T. Baptist Beard Care. John T. Baptist Beard Care. Look me up on there. Make some beard care stuff too. So holler at me if you're interested in that. But man, I'm grateful. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Absolutely. Well,
thank you guys. Take care.
100%. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Drop the Tailgate. Join us next time for some more fun in the Tennessee Great Outdoors.